Yeah. Roll it up. Turn it up. It's Alabama folk. Jack, Jeff, Trev in the booth. Yeah, you already know. From Tuscaloosa nights to the Saturday lights. Breaking down the tide. Every wrong, every right. Got the insight, fire, and the Bama pride. When the Crimson's on the line, we alone for the ride. Bama voices on the call. We gon' break it all down. Roll it up. From the rumble in the trenches to the kings of the crown. Roll it up. Yeah, the tide runs deep and the show runs strong. Jack, Jeff, Trev, keep it rolling all season long. Every snap, every play, every headline drop. If it's Bama on the field, you know we never stop. Fast take, big stakes, tide talk all day. Alabama by CFB, we don't play. Crimson spirit in the air, let the good times flow. Times flow.
Good evening, Crimson Tide Nation, and welcome to the 53rd edition of Alabama Primetime Live from yours truly, Jackson Johnson and Trevion Ware, as we'll be going over quite a lot on our takes on spring practice. Zevion Brown speaking at the press conference, a little preview of Pro Day, some recruiting updates, which include the announcement of when Elijah Haven is going to announce his commitment date and the commitment of Oakley Keegan for the 2027 class. Alabama hiring Trent Simpson as an assistant defensive line coach for the Crimson Tide, and the opening lines for the Alabama-Michigan matchup on Friday night on the Sweet 16. Let me tell you something, folks. It's going to be a fun one and a good time for a long time. How you doing tonight, good buddy?
Doing pretty good. Obviously doing even better seeing that Alabama is back on the football field for their fifth of 15 spring practices. Was able to go out there today and see some things, hear some players talk. Also, just sense the vibe around the building. The vibe is pretty good. Things looked good. Couldn't tell they took a week off for spring break. So looks like Alabama is right where they want to be at this stage of the spring.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, let's touch on that, for spring practice, because Alabama is back in action. Because if I can find the clip somewhere, there we go. So we got a little bit of a Zevion Brown and friends having some fun. Here we go. So what was your takeaway from seeing this film, like from practice today?
Yeah, obviously the loud takeaways for me pretty much stood out as week 2 being the teaching, heavy competitive while still installing. Both sides of the football looking very good at this stage of spring practice, and everything is pretty much everything. I know everybody is excited about the ongoing quarterback between Austin Mack and Keelan Russell, but they're still pretty much neck and neck as we are still in the early stages of spring. But looking at the defensive side of the ball, looking at some of the teaching tape, right now we're looking at the linebackers. That's Henry for 2. Just looking at some of the defensive players working on their ball skills and stuff like that. Big man Terrence Green from Oregon recently transferred to Alabama. He's looking good, but just looking at them just go through drills and stuff. One of those young players a lot of people are excited about is Jared Edwards, the 5-star safety from the class of 2026. He's an early enrollee. He's looking like he is fitting right in pretty well. But just looking at some of these off-ball linebackers and things of that nature, that's Caleb Woodson. Looking at Dijon Lee right there working through bag drills with some of the other practice players and stuff like that. They are obviously showing that early aggression that you would like to see out of your defensive backs. So I'm very excited so far from what I've seen. Of course, we still got a long way to go, still a couple weeks away from Alabama's A-Day, but the intensity and the energy is everything you would like to see as a fan, as a spectator, anybody that just watched the game of football. So I'm definitely loving what I see from here from these drills.
Yeah, I mean, like, just looking at it, like, we're seeing some of the meanness back into the Crimson Tide defense, because like it looks like 2026 will be able to show some toughness compared to where we did in 2025 and 2024.
Yeah, most definitely. Kane Warren making that side of the ball is ramping up the intensity the way you would like to see them to do it. Obviously, the offensive line is another big question. That's Big Nick Brooks. That's Jackson Lloyd right there. They're going through drills as well. Looking at some of the other linemen, obviously, Alabama has named their three potential linemen in Grayson Delegati, Jackson Lloyd, and Michael Carroll. But also looking at the running backs, that was another big topic of discussion last year, seeing each running back go through the drills. That's Trayshawn Brown. We just saw Daniel Hill. Looking at the five-star running back, E.J. Carrell, all the running backs are looking pretty good as we see early on. Of course, this is without contact, but then we go over to the quarterbacks. Like I said, just going over this battle with Austin Mack and Keelan Russell. A lot of people are still picking sides, picking their favorites, picking to see who they would like to see take the next starter snaps under center as Ty Simpson gets ready for his pro day tomorrow. It's still an ongoing battle. Looking at some of the backup quarterbacks as well. But, of course, the focus is on them, too. Both of them throw a pretty good ball. But, they're still going through installs offensively, getting some new plays under their belt and stuff like that. But just looking at the way the ball flies out of both of their hands, I feel like Alabama's going to be in pretty good shape regardless of who the quarterback is. But overall, it's just good to see the intensity in practice be higher than what it's noticeably been in the past couple of years and stuff like that. And Alabama's definitely taking that next step in terms of their approach and stuff like that. So you definitely love to see stuff like that.
Well, you talked a little bit about Xavier Brown, where two of our five-star freshmen caught his eye, and that is one of them is Gerard Edwards, and of course the other one is Jordan Edmonds. Like, they caught his eye big time.
Yeah, yes, sir. Gerard Edmonds, like I said, Gerard Edwards, like I said, he's coming in as an early enrollee, just like Edmonds. Gerard Edmonds, being 6'2", 221 pounds, his size already stood out early on. But the way he approaches the game is something that's standing out to Xavier Brown. Xavier Brown has he spoke to the media today talking about how he is roommates with both Edwards and Edmonds, and the way that they are approaching practice, the way that they're working to fit in, the hard work mentality that they come to practice with every day, that definitely stands out, especially being two true freshmen already in a crowded defensive backfield. And those two are working their tails off to fit seamlessly in this Crimson Tide defense to be early contributors in 2026. And Kane Warmack definitely spoke on that last week, talking about how both of them were on pace to do so. So you definitely love to hear those things from your veteran third-year starting cornerback, giving an early nod of endorsement to those two. So definitely am excited to see what Edwards and Edmonds can do in the Crimson Tide secondary when both of them get their chances this fall in 2026.
And we've got this press conference scene here of Brown speaking at the press conference.
Yeah, I would say, our third year really like being around coaching staff and stuff like that. It's a lot more energy. It's a lot more like detail and, scheme and stuff like that. So it's been good. Right. Carmelo? Sure, Carmelo's a dog. He uses his size to his advantage. He moves around really well, and I can't wait to just see how everybody keep progressing.
Which one of your teammates has surprised you with the progress they've made in the offseason?
I think Dijon Lee really stepped forward, and I'm seeing his game really develop, and he's starting to produce a lot more, I would say. Shit, they're all locked in. I see a lot of good things from everybody. My roommates in the dorm is Jira and Jordan. So those guys, they work hard, they leave early. Being around them, they move right.
What's the biggest piece of advice your roommates are going to be kind of spread on him of how to contribute early?
Right. I think just focus, dedication, maximizing the hours and time in your day. It's kind of just a little light I shed on them. How does he move for a guy of this size? Who, Jara? Shit, he moves amazing to me. I mean, I think all the freshmen, you know, they moving around good, put on size, speed. I think everybody's progressing at a good time. Oh, for sure. I just mentally, you know, we all on the same page. We go chill, talk, stuff like that. It's nice having guys like that in the building.
What is it like being in a room that has this much talent? I mean, this is a pretty stacked group. I mean, does it kind of push you guys to be even better with so much competition everywhere?
Absolutely, and just being able to learn from the guys around me, around each other, learning from each other. Hey, what'd you see on this rep? How'd you do this? Like, just, you know, tapping into the mental side of the game. I feel like is the biggest advantage, having a lot of guys in the room.
We always talk to you guys about like what are you passing down to the younger players. Is there ever a moment where they do something where you learn off of them, maybe?
Oh, for sure. Sure. I'll ask Jordan about a rep he had, or, you know, just something like that. And if you're humble, you should be able to take in information from anybody. I would just say, you know, communication. I feel like communication leads to production at the end of the day, takeaways, punches on the ball, stuff like that.
Strong second year quarterback. We think Dijon is capable of this.
Sure, I think the sky's the limit for a guy like Dijon. You know, he, like I said earlier, start everything. Like, I really feel like really starting to glue together, and I can't wait to play with him this year. It's a little bit of a change, but, you know, I embrace it. I have fun with everybody. You know, I try my best to just be present, and yeah.
So what did you think about those first few minutes of the press conference from Brown?
Yeah, obviously Xavier Brown going into his third year, he's taking a role of leadership, kind of being the old head in the defensive back room, and that's definitely something good you would like to see from your third-year cornerback. He's already been a all SEC true freshman. He already proved that he's one of the best defensive backs in college football at the cornerback position. So him taking that nod of confidence to be the leader and teach the room, that's definitely something you like to see. But also he commented on Alabama. One of Alabama's recent transfers, Carmelo O'Neal. Carmelo O'Neal, the defensive back from Mercer, 6'4", 225 pounds. He's definitely come in and been able to provide some depth for Alabama. So you definitely should be excited about what Carmelo O'Neal can bring to the table. And also he hinted on Dijon Lee, the second-year cornerback. He started a lot last year. Between him and Damani Jackson, but it looks like he's going to be able to take that role over full time this year. And the way that he's already highlighted Lee as a player that stepped forward and been more aggressive, been more confident in his play, that's definitely something that all Alabama fans can get excited about, because the length between those two, you look at Xavier Brown being 6'2", you look at Dijon Lee being 6'3", almost 6'4", and then you think about the length behind him and Carmelo O'Neal, who I already mentioned, who was 6'4". You definitely should. That definitely is something that can be a dangerous combo for Alabama to mess around with in their secondary. That's going to be the strength of the defense, just with the continuity that they have on that side of the ball, and also what he said about the young kids. Jared Edwards and Jordan Edmond. Like I said, those two are already fitting into the fabric of Alabama's secondary, and seeing that already, and the fact that Xavier Brown has went on record and said that he is actually learning from those two. He can find small things in his game that he can put in his game and learn from them two. So the fact that the defensive back room, they're not being selfish, they're spreading the knowledge amongst each other, that's definitely something that can be a benefit for this Alabama defense, just with all the different skill sets, different sizes, different player molds that they have back there. You definitely love to hear stuff like that.
I'm excited. Yeah, I feel pretty good about it. Like, especially when we're hearing that Brown is learning from two of the 5 stars as well. And
Yeah,
honestly,
especially with him being a former 5-star, you know, a lot of older players kind of get cocky and stuff like that and be like, you know, I've been doing this and this and that. But the fact that he is humble enough to take some of the knowledge that they have, them playing in different defenses and different schemes, and them having different traits in their game, and he's seeing those players as an opportunity to teach and learn from, that's definitely a big plus.
true. I mean, that's true. And now let's hear what Brown has to say in the rest of this press conference, shall we?
It's not really something we think about too much, you know, pay attention to formations, personnel, receivers, stuff like that. But, you know, we really just focus on, you know, getting the grasp. And, you know, we only in practice 5. So, yeah. Oh, 100%. But in terms of, you know, their skill level, we just focus on us, really. So I'm grateful, you know, being able to play with guys like that. It's truly a blessing. It make my job life a lot easier. Just having the guys who've been around the program for a long time, got their heads screwed on. You know, I learned a lot from both of those guys. So I'm really grateful that they came back. You know, I think we're extremely talented. I think we have a lot in front of us this year. Absolutely. I mean, really, our whole receiver room, they're deep. We got guys, they got a lot of tools in their bag, and they bring their hundreds to practice every day. So they make us better, to make us work, compete, and I feel like that's what being at Bama is all about. True. To me, he just the guy. I've always looked at him like that. I think, you know, he got a tremendous amount ahead of him this year, and I can't wait to watch him. Yeah, Chuck, you know, that's my guy, especially coming from high school and stuff like that. And I'm really proud of Chuck, you know, how he just keep progressing, keep his head down, don't really say too much, just he the guy that just loves to work.
You're talking about taking something from somebody else.
One more time.
Talking about you take something, you see somebody do something, you talk to them about it.
Right.
Give me a specific example of that, maybe.
Might just be like somebody press rep, you know, just the way they get hands on somebody, or just a certain movement. Ask them about that, like what they seen to make them do that and stuff like that. Just being able to pick up tools from other people, add to my game.
Does it happen so often that there's not one that stands out? Or
I mean, sure, I could say it happens every practice. Honestly, you know, just it's a plethora of talented guys around our room. If you can't learn from each other, then you probably not doing something right. Huh? Oh, I don't really pay attention to basketball like that. Yeah. Not really. I feel like I'm just, you know, focused on just day by day right now, just maximizing my day, maximizing my hours, and getting through that part. I would definitely say consistency, because, you know, not every day is the same. You got to do different classes, different stuff each day, and just being able to work around that, and how can I be productive this 30 minutes, this hour, just fitting that stuff in. Appreciate it.
thank you.
That was fun when they were asking about the bracket, like that last part. But, you know, most importantly, he talked a lot about consistency, and I feel pretty good about it, honestly.
Yeah, definitely. The Crimson Tide secondary displaying that consistency in practice. Obviously, keeping that same energy of against both quarterbacks, Austin Mack and Keelan Russell, which was something else they talked about. Preparing for both quarterbacks as a defense. Them both keep Xavier Brown embodying the mindset of the defense about just no matter who's out there, we still have to stop them. So you definitely love to hear that from one of the leaders of your defense, and then just talking about the receivers and stuff like that, how they bring their energy every day to practice. So with that being said, you're seeing the iron sharpening the iron on defense and offense, and both skill position groups making each other better, and also just talking about a young player like a Chuck McDonald and stuff like that, who's been moved around from safety to right now he's playing a little bit rover and husky in that Alabama defense. Him keeping his head down and working, that just pretty much embodies the type of defense that I think that Alabama's going to have this year. A bunch of players who bring their hard hat in their lunch pails to work every day and want to get better. So hearing those things, that definitely is something that excites me. Of course, we still have to see how they perform throughout the rest of these spring practices. But like I said, they're already right where they want to be. They're already at a good start. They're already keeping the main thing, which is get better every day, continue to learn from each other, find different ways to clean up some of the deficiencies in their game. So, like you said, I feel pretty confident about this secondary moving forward. I was already confident about them, especially when Xavier Brown was asked about how he felt about the return of Keon Sabb and Bray Hubbard, just getting those two anchors back on the back end of the defense, and them coming back for another year to teach some of the young players while also cleaning up their game and being the best versions of themselves. So everything is sounding pretty good from what we've heard early on in spring practice. But like I said, we still have to see. But it's definitely a good spot to be in, to have all that versatility where each can learn from them, each bring a different skill set. Each player in the secondary is very capable of coming into the game and making an impact whenever their number is called.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be nice to see what more of the magic we'll see from Xavier Brown. I mean, because last season we saw him returning a pick six against Tennessee, that was fantastic, and just seeing Dijon Lee.
Just Deshaun as well. Like you said, him being able to step up and make big plays. He's made a number of big plays when his number is called. Just like Xavier Brown, even outside of the games when he didn't get picks, he still came up and made a number of solo stops, solo tackles, was still in position on a lot of balls where he needed to be, and stopped a lot of explosive plays from happening from the opposing offense. So you definitely should be excited about what you'll be seeing from Dijon Lee, from Xavier Brown, from the versatile backups that they have in that secondary, and combining it all together in Kane Warmack's third season. So it's definitely going to be something to see.
Oh, it's going to be, that's for sure. I'm excited to see what we're going to be seeing from the rest of the defense. And Lee getting that game clinching interception against Missouri last season. Oh man, I got a feeling we're going to see a lot more of that, in the 2026 season, especially with a year under his belt right there. But something is happening tomorrow, and we've got Pro Day to go over. Got to go over a lot about LT Overton, Parker Brailsford, Caden Proctor. We know we're going to be talking a lot about Ty Simpson, but what are you hoping to see from Pro Day, Trevion?
Yeah, obviously Pro Day is going to be centered around Ty Simpson. Ty Simpson been getting a lot of talk this week about potentially being the best quarterback in this draft. We already knew he was going to be QB number 2 behind Fernando Mendoza from Indiana, but he's been getting talked up to be potentially have the highest ceiling of these quarterbacks in this draft. But another player I am excited to see tomorrow, looking at a player like a Jeremy Bernard, looking at a player like a Jam Miller, looking at a player like Josh Cuevas, 3 players that can definitely help NFL teams at the next level. It just depends on where they are drafted at. So those 3 players definitely need to have good performances. We saw them have some great performances at the NFL Combine this past February. Each player, I feel, helped themselves in a variety of ways. Also excited about a player like a Tim Keenan. Obviously, Tim Keenan, what he's meant to the Alabama football program, just from a leadership standpoint, just from a consistency standpoint, just with the heart he brings and stuff like that. Getting to see a player like that be back in the practice facility tomorrow and really be able to,
we got some
really,
OT Overton right there. He's fast.
yeah, we saw that last month and stuff like that. I know that all these players looked pretty good at the NFL Combine, but seeing these players, which is more, it's very likely it'll be their last times in that Alabama facility as just being able to practice and stuff like that, because they're going to be having their own pro facilities to practice in. So you definitely hope for a good performance from all of them tomorrow. I'm interested to see the receivers that Ty Simpson is going to be throwing to. Obviously, last year when Jalen Miller was going through his NFL Combine and stuff like that and going through his Alabama Pro Day, he threw the receivers like a Jeremy Bernard. He threw the receivers like Ryan Williams, like Texas A&M transfer Isaiah Horton, just a number of different receivers that he threw to. So it's going to be interesting to see what receivers are going to be out there for Ty Simpson to throw to. I definitely think that it's obviously going to be Ryan Williams. It's obviously going to be Rico Scott, Jeremy Bernard, and might be Noah Rogers, might be might be obviously Lysir Brooks too. But it'll just definitely be interesting to see how that group gets together for the final time. And Ken the I know it's not about Ryan, but I'm interested to see him catching tomorrow. Yeah, me too, definitely. I just brought that up. Obviously, Ryan Williams has put his head down this offseason and turned over a new leaf, switching the number, name change and stuff like that. But the work goes beyond that. He has to continue to prove that he is a hard worker. I mean, I believe he is a hard worker. Last year was just a down year. But obviously, getting to see him catch the rock from Ty Simpson one more time, that's going to be a good thing. Everything that I've seen of Ryan Williams in practice, he's been pretty consistent. He's been pretty fundamental centric, just looking the ball into his hands, tucking it away, making the routine things look routine. Of course, you're always going to get some spectacular stuff from Ryan Williams, but it's really about making this routine stuff look routine. Like I said, keeping the main thing the main thing. And I'm definitely thinking that Ryan Williams is definitely all about that. Like I said, from everything I've seen this spring, he's definitely brought that same energy to practice, especially knowing that he has to be the leader of this receiver room in 2026, because next year we're probably going to be talking about his pro day. So, right. Getting those NFL GMs, Alabama Pro Day is always packed. Always got a representative from every one of 32 teams. So I'm definitely thinking that Ryan Williams is going to put on the show tomorrow, and I can't wait to see it.
For sure. I mean, like we're going to be seeing a lot of action tomorrow on Pro Day, but two guys I'm really thinking about a lot are Caden Proctor and Parker Brailsford. Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see. Who's going to be getting one of them? Like, who's going to get Brailsford or Proctor? I want to see who's getting them, but there's going to be a lot of scouts watching tomorrow.
Yeah, most definitely. Parker Brailsford has him and Ty Simpson are probably the two players that will go first round for Alabama. Obviously, Caden Proctor, being the tackle that he is, he slimmed down his weight. He noted at the combine that his playing weight at Alabama was over 375 pounds. He's dropped it down to 355-ish, around that area. So I definitely want to see how he moves at that new weight. He looked pretty good in Indianapolis this past February, but there's also been a lot of talk about him. For him to even potentially go higher in the NFL draft, he might need to switch his position and move inside and play some guard. And he noted that he was willing to do that, just for the longevity of his career. But also looking at a player like Parker Brailsford, the athletic freak that he is, he's been one of those players that's come over from Washington to Alabama, just like Jeremy Bernard, just like Josh Cuevas, and he's fit the part. He's been a great representative of Alabama football, and he more than likely will not hear his name called or night one at the NFL draft next month, but he'll be one of those players on day 2, just like Jeremy Bernard, that should hear their names called pretty early, starting around in the second round, no later than the third. Whoever gets those two are definitely getting quality football players, hard-working players who can definitely come in and contribute from day one. And as I noted earlier, like I said, Caden Proctor, he moved pretty well at the NFL Combine, and he showed that punch, he showed that agility, he showed that side-to-side movement, showing that he can move at that weight. We already knew he was very athletic from his days at Alabama. So now it's just about him just putting it all together and making that final sale. But from what I've seen on most NFL mock drafts, listening to most NFL analysts and league executives, doing my own research and stuff like that, Caden Proctor is definitely a contender to hear his name called on night one of the NFL draft. But Ty Simpson obviously is going to steal the show tomorrow. He more than likely, he's looking like a top 15 to 20 to 25 pick, but I'm very confident with the way he's been driven by the media and the light that they've painted him in recently by analysts like Dan Orlovsky, like Louis Riddick, and the ESPN crew. They're raving about him all over the place. So, tomorrow for Ty Simpson is just about, putting that final stamp of approval on his game. But, it's going to be a lot of NFL GMs, a lot of talent evaluators tomorrow. So I definitely am confident that Ty Simpson will do just that. And we'll be here. We'll be excited just to see what happens tomorrow. But tomorrow is definitely going to go a long way for a lot of Alabama players, for sure.
For sure, man. Like I can't wait to see what we'll be seeing, especially for Bernard. Because somebody's gonna be very happy to get him. Because we know he can make great catches, but anybody that saw the game against Missouri knows he can do a great job blocking.
Yeah, Jeremy Bernard, man, you got to appreciate players like Jeremy Bernard, man. He's a quiet guy. He goes about his business. He does things the right way, from catching the ball to leading the receiver room, the charisma, the kindness that he plays with. But he's also a guy that can do the dirty work, that can block inside, that is a relentless blocker, somebody that you can count on all three downs to move the chains. So Jeremy Bernard is going to look real sweet watching him catch those balls from Ty Simpson tomorrow and put himself in a better light too, because Jeremy Bernard is definitely a player that can come into an NFL franchise on day one. Not saying he has to be receiver one, but he can definitely be a complimentary receiver to a proven receiver in a receiver two role. And he definitely can make a lot of plays on Sunday. So we're definitely excited to see what number 5 of Crimson can do for the last time in the Alabama facility at tomorrow's Pro Day.
I think, the scouts are going to be very happy to see what Jeremy Bernard can do. I mean, whether he's in the first round or the second round, whoever drafts Jeremy Bernard is going to be very happy to have him for basically the next 4 or 5 years, 10, 11 years. I mean, that's what I'm
who
thinking.
Knows? Yeah, for sure. Who knows? I mean, Jeremy Bernard, he is as advertised. I mean, this wide receiver NFL draft class is very deep. You look at players like Carnell Tate. You look at players like Jordan Tyson. You look at players like I'm trying to see who else. It's a lot of receivers I get these names stuff so bad. It's a lot of receivers in this NFL draft. I want to name 2 more before I go to my point. You look at a Makai Lemon. You look at just players like that. Obviously this receiver draft is top heavy, but but Jeremy Bernard, wherever he hears his name called, he's definitely going to be a contributor for day one. I would bet something on that if there was a bet to be made on that. But
Carnell Tate's in that draft.
Yeah,
as
I
well.
said that. Yeah, I said that. I said Carnell Tate, Jordan Tyson, Makai Lemon, players like that who steal the show. But Jeremy Bernard, that's just somebody that what you're going to get each and every game day. So definitely excited to see what Jeremy Bernard can do tomorrow, cooking up on his pro day.
Omar Cooper and Casey Conception are in the draft. Denzel Boston from Washington is in that draft.
Yeah, but like I said, just a receiver heavy type of draft. So there's going to be a multitude of teams picking not even one receiver. They might draft 2-3 receivers. So Jeremy Bernard, he shouldn't have any hard time finding an NFL home on Sundays.
No doubt about it. And before we get to our next topic, we've got a couple 99-cent super stickers from Godfather the SEC. We want to thank you so much for the super sticker where it's let me see where we got here. Oh man, it is so nice. We've got the dollar sign, the dollar signs and the eyes emoji, and we've got the 100% super sticker emoji from Godfather the SEC. Neither one of us can be able to see it in the StreamYard, but that's okay. We can be able to see it, from the channel, and we appreciate the support you give us, Godfather, and we appreciate the super stickers. Let's give him a round of applause.
Yeah, definitely appreciate Godfather always being consistent with us, always taking the time out to listen, always taking the time out to like, comment. Obviously, he's a OG member, so he's been subscribed. So we definitely appreciate Godfather for his weekly contribution to our show. It wouldn't be nothing without fans like Godfather. But also checking in to see what Sports Talk with Austin says. Just stopping by to say hi, hey, and hitting that like button along the way. Just fix my water. Man, well, we appreciate you, man, for real. Obviously, sounds like you got a lot on your plate, fixing that water heater, doing some plumbing, but we definitely appreciate the constant traffic that you're giving us, hitting that like button. It definitely means a lot. If anybody's not going to, I'll speak for Jackson and myself. We definitely appreciate you for that. That helps us keep this show going. That helps us drive our helps us drive our numbers up and stuff like that. So we definitely appreciate all the contributions that you guys and others bring to the table. But we also want to shout out our partner as well, FanDuel. I don't know. I believe we skipped over that. We can't skip over.
We haven't done the FanDuel ad just yet, but now's a perfect time because we've got the predictions all right here.
Yeah, we can't skip over our guys at FanDuel. FanDuel is our sponsor. They help us keep power this show going on. So we definitely want to look at some bets while we have time out here on the show. Obviously, March Madness is going to resume this Thursday. Obviously, the Crimson Tide are a big topic of discussion around here. But it's also some other bets that you can look at as well. Obviously, MLB opening night tomorrow is going on with the New York Giants versus
Netflix. There we go.
Yeah, versus the Mets and stuff like that. The NBA is in hard is right in the thick of things, winding down the regular season, getting ready for the NBA playoffs and stuff like that, and looking at the two early college bets that you can bet on. So I don't have a specific bet for the viewers right now, but that's why you hop on FanDuel to see what's going on, because they got everything you need on the betting market, from overs, under, spreads, futures bets, player props, anything you'll be looking for in the betting market. FanDuel will definitely get you squared away and ready to play. That's why we appreciate them every day.
Oh, for sure. Would you like a little fact on Duke and St. John's? About
throw it at me, man.
Well, all the years where Duke has won a national championship, whether it's been the 1991 season, 1992, or 2009, 2015. There's another one, the 90s, but all of them basically consist of trying to get through St. John's. All the years where Duke has won national title, it's all involved a victory against St. John's. You can't find a single national title victory for Duke that doesn't contain a game against St. John's. So basically, if Duke was to win Friday night against St. John's, they're basically home free in, a road to a natty. But St. John's, this is probably just me, but they're underseeded as a 5 seed. Like, I get that the Big East has been slow this year, but I would not be surprised if I'm seeing St. John's make their first Final Four since 1985. I mean, I know the East region is just loaded, but good grief.
Yeah, I mean that probably might be just you. I mean, I don't know who else would be interested in that, but no disrespect. But no, what I'm saying about that is because looking at the Duke Blue Devils, that front court anchored by Cameron Boozer. I mean, obviously St. John's, they got a player like I think his name is Zuby.
Yeah.
Catcher for Zuby. They have a player like that. But I think that Duke, they have too much size, man. They have too much going on. I mean, the starting point guard did go down, so they have to play the other Boozer brother. But I feel like Duke, that they are on a collision course with some of these other top ranked seeds. So I mean, obviously St. John's, they have Patino and stuff like that. So that could be something that coaching matchup right there, that dynamic, that could be something that swings the scales. But for me, I just think Cameron Boozer it's going to be too much. It's going to be too much Boozer brothers in the way to stop that. But we'll have to see what happens as March Madness resumes the rest of this week. Later, we're going to be touching on Alabama versus Michigan. Obviously, Alabama is the underdog in that matchup. Rightfully so. Just looking at Michigan size with Yaxel in that front court, they got a lot of trees up there. And anybody that's watched Alabama basketball, knowing that that's some of their limitations, just with on being able to rebound and stuff like that. So we'll be diving into that matchup later. I don't want to sound like a buzzkill or anything. Definitely going to be rooting for the Crimson Tide. Definitely. Some ways that the Crimson Tide can give the Wolverines problems on Friday, but we'll be diving into that later for sure. But getting back to football, getting back to football. What was our third topic? Was it
we got some recruiting updates? Yeah, let's talk about the commitment of Oakley Keegan, and also where we're going to be seeing Elijah Haven making his announcement on when he's committing. So Oakley Keegan is the second tight end to commit to the Alabama 2027 recruiting class behind Colt Lumpris, 6'7", 240 pounds. Something tells me Alabama struck while the iron was hot before everybody else thought of him. Because like Boston College saw something. I mean, because like and Syracuse and Vandy saw him. And I think Alabama was like, okay, we better get him before Ohio State's even thinking about getting him. Because that's not going to happen.
Yeah, Kalen DeBoer having that keen eye for talent. Obviously, the tight end room, you think about the tight ends that's already there. You think about a player like Caleb Edwards. You think about the 2026 incoming freshman, Max Stutter. You think about a player like Marshall Pritchard. You think about just some of the bodies in that tight end room, even from Josh Ford and stuff like that. But already having Colt Lumpus in the mix, somebody that we talked about previously in the past, and getting a player like Oakley Keegan in the mix. That's definitely something that Alabama is looking forward to. I can assure you that, just because they're going to be losing a player like obviously Danny Lewis. He's always injured and stuff like that. I don't want to talk too bad about him or nothing like that. I'm not talking bad about him, but that's just the reality of the situation. He's always injured, and plus he's on the end of his eligibility at the end of this year. So obviously infusing more youth in that tight end room for Coach Richard Owens to work with. That's definitely going to be something exciting to see, just knowing the teacher that Coach Richard Owens is. But looking at some of Oakley Keegan's, looking at some of his film and stuff like that, he's from Liverpool, so he played football. What is that? Liverpool, is that overseas? I sound so uneducated right now. I don't mean to.
Oh, I think it's somewhere. I think in this case it's in New York. Let me see.
Yeah. Played in New York. I don't know why, but I know he got some Scottish roots to him. But looking at his film right here, he's obviously a key blocker, something that Alabama always loves in their tight end, seeing him block down the field and stuff like that. Just off of his junior season. He had 8 receptions for 135 yards, 1 touchdown, 16.9 yards per catch, along with 45 yards. A lot of his recruitment is hinging off of just his size, being 6'7". A lot of schools seeing the potential in just with his build. He hasn't played a lot of football, but some people just naturally got it. And Oakley Keegan is one of those players that naturally has it. He has an 8'9" broad jump, benches over 300 pounds. He has low production, but he has a lot of high efficiency. He has more traits based on recruiting that are star-based traits. So, coming into this year, the spotlight's going to be on him playing a whole season of football. Last year, he only played 8 games. So, and with him only playing 8 games and be able to garner that much interest, he was recently committed to Syracuse back home in New York for him. So, big thing for him is just going to be showing that consistency. But looks like you said, Kellen DeBoer jumped on this early with his keen eye for talent. So that definitely can be a steal for the Crimson Tide in the future, because you can't teach 6'7". You can't teach the relentless blocker that he already has shown to be on that small bit of film. So it's definitely going to be exciting to see his development throughout his upcoming senior year this fall, and how Alabama can continue to keep him locked in on his commitment and getting him into Tuscaloosa and getting him inside the offense with Coach Richard Owens and seeing what can happen in 2027.
Yeah, I mean, because like the more the merrier. Just coming on over to Alabama. I mean, this is another huge win on the recruiting trail, and we finally got some intel on when we're going to see Elijah Haven making his announcement, because like we've been waiting on this so much. Like April 25th is going to be the date. So we're going to be finding out, whether he's going to be committed to Alabama, Auburn, Florida, or Georgia. So that's a huge win.
Yeah, so let that countdown begin. I wouldn't mark it as a win yet, because obviously still got those other schools contending. Obviously this quarterback room is very talented. Austin Mack, who is still 19 years old. I don't think a lot of people realize that Austin Mack been in college football for about 3.5 years. He came over as a early enrollee to Washington and followed his way to Alabama with Kellen DeBoer. So he still has some eligibility, and he's young. Looking at Keelan Russell, the highest rated quarterback in program history, highest rated player in program history. And then looking at some of those players like a Trent Seaborn, who's going to be joining next year. Looking at Jet Tamala, who's already on campus. Looking at Ted Nkwawa, who's already on campus, getting those reps and stuff like that. So Alabama can definitely have a log jam at the quarterback position. Depends on what Mr. Haven does, the number 1 quarterback in the class of 2027. Somebody who rewrote the record books in the state of Louisiana, having over 73 touchdowns, passing and rushing, being 6'5", being over 225 pounds. He looks like he's made in the lab, man. You definitely get excited just thinking about the prospect of him coming. But I'm already excited about the quarterbacks that they have on this roster. So, it'll just be interesting to see. I mean, obviously, it's going to be up to what he's looking for in a college football program, knowing the logjam that Alabama has at quarterback currently. He could be one of those kids that embraces the competition, that wants to learn, that wants to continue to develop his game, that doesn't really obviously, if you're the number 1 quarterback in your class, you're definitely looking to start, which is why I think some of those other schools like Auburn, unfortunately, like Georgia, unfortunately, even like saw Kentucky even potentially get in the mix. They might be able to offer something that Alabama can't, which is a potential starting role in year 1. And, for a lot of kids, that's a big thing. I mean, I know that would probably be a big thing for me if I was a player. But obviously, to even be in the conversation, knowing what Alabama quarterback room looks like, I feel like they have a good chance. Seeing how Kalen DeBoer is as a recruiter, seeing how he's been to Tuscaloosa and he's been in T-Town at least 5 times in the last 6 months. He came down for Junior Day. He came last year. He came to a few games, came to some basketball games, was able to scope out the scenery and stuff like that, and he still has them in his top potential picks. So seeing a player like this still seriously considering the Crimson Tide is definitely something to watch. You said that official commitment date is going to be on April 25th. Well, we're on March 24th, so we got about T-minus 30 days. So
And April 25th is on a Saturday, so that's a good day for everybody. And I think like a lot of the spring games are out by that time. And the reason why I'm excited because it's like we're gonna be playing, because like if this is the official date, we're gonna do a commitment watch party on this cat.
Yeah,
like not just the Alabama people, not just us, but we'll have the Georgia people, the Florida people, and the Auburn people with us for this one. So we're gonna be good.
Yeah, most definitely involving the rest of the Voice of College Football channel, our family on other channels and stuff like that. We definitely look to do something for that, just to see where he goes. Regardless, he's a talented kid, has a lot of potential suitors. He's going to make one more stop down to Tuscaloosa for Alabama's A-Day, which could also be another potential way for Kalen DeBoer to kind of get some of those last words in before he makes his commitment. Right now, he's in basketball season. He's a 2-sport athlete, plays basketball down in Louisiana. Basketball season pretty much just now wrapping up. So he's getting ready to sit down and make some decisions ahead of his senior year. So it'll definitely be interesting to see what the young man wants to do. Regardless, we'll be covering it, whether it's good, bad, indifferent. We'll be talking about it. So I definitely can't wait to see what the future holds for a player like Elijah Haven.
Yeah, it's going to be, it's so amazing being able to cover all this, like just seeing more of Elijah Haven, whether he does commit to Bama or doesn't, the quarterback room, like Trevion says, is going to be more than all right. And, you don't want to be at a log jam, but, it's at the same time.
It's a good problem to have, though.
Huh?
Yeah, my bad. I don't mean to talk over you, Jackson. I was just saying it's a good problem to have, though. I mean, I feel like multiple quarterbacks in this quarterback room could easily start at other programs, but they come to the University of Alabama to compete. They come to learn. They come to sharpen their games. They see players like Ty Simpson, who had his share of time to wait, and it still worked out for him, potentially to be one of the top quarterbacks in this NFL draft class. They see how it works out for players in the past, and that still means something to some of these kids. So who knows what Elijah Haven will do, but we'll be talking about it for sure.
We will, no doubt about it. But let's talk about the merch store for a moment of Alabama with the Voice of College Football, because we're getting some gear ready. We've got some gear we're gonna get. We've got some hats, the t-shirts, the polo shirt, the sweatshirt, the game day mug, the tumbler cup, and the can cooler, especially to get ready to put on your Easter basket for Easter Sunday on April 5th.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. Yeah, for sure. Definitely a lot of intriguing items here on the Alabama channel at the Voices of College Football. The link's in the chat. We definitely appreciate anybody who wants to tap in and see what we have. Multiple colors, multiple styles. Everything is unisex for women's, men's, boys, and girls. So we definitely appreciate all the love and support we'll be getting there. If you have an idea on potential merchandise suggestions, you can definitely comment that in the chat too. We definitely take all suggestions. If we like something that anybody comes up with, we'll definitely give you a shout out. We'll definitely be contacting you to see what we can do for you there if we do something with that. But overall, like I said, you definitely want to check out what the Alabama Voice of College Football website has, merch and other things of that nature. We appreciate that in advance.
For sure. And of course, before we go over our take on the opening lines of the Sweet 16 matchup, we had some news happen before we started the show, and that's Alabama hiring Trent Simpson as the assistant defensive line coach, as he worked at the last 4 years at Oklahoma, including the last 3 years as a defensive analyst. Oof.
Yeah, a big hire for the. I'm sorry, I'm just jumping the gun because I'm excited about it. I know what you were just
I
about to
know,
say.
right?
I think, yeah, a big hire for Alabama and Kalen DeBoer and Kane Warmack's defensive staff. Obviously, he's coming over from Oklahoma. We saw how tough that Oklahoma defensive line was. We saw it firsthand when Oklahoma came down to Saban Field at Bryant-Denny Stadium and sacked Ty Simpson over 3 times. So he has coached players like Mason Thomas, who's one of the underrated players from Oklahoma that's going to be in this NFL draft. He was the engine behind that Oklahoma defensive line that helped them be so aggressive versus many teams, including the Alabama Crimson Tide. So this is definitely a great hire. It's definitely a great sign to see Kalen DeBoer continuously work, continuously to find ways to get better in all phases of the game. And thinking about just the monsters that Alabama has on that defensive line is definitely going to be something exciting to see when everything materializes, when he gets down to Tuscaloosa, when he comes in the summer, when he comes in the fall and gets his hands on this specific group to help Freddie Roach get the best out of these players. So I'm excited.
Agreed. And just looking at this from our guy from Brody Smoot at Crimson Coverage, where he talks about where we get a little info of Simpson on how he was a former Jacksonville State baseball player and a native of Oxford, Alabama. He originally signed to play football at Mississippi State coming out of high school. So we got a Bama native as an assistant defensive line coach.
Yeah, that's definitely also something that is another intriguing fact about Mr. Simpson. You definitely like those homebred coaches, but I'm just looking at the numbers of Oklahoma's defensive line room this past year. They had 20 sacks as a defensive line last year. They were one of the
Oklahoma defense.
SEC.
That Oklahoma defense was just full of monsters. Like that.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, they were one of the top defensive lines in the SEC. Their defensive line accounted for 44% of Oklahoma's total 45 sacks. So they had 20 of 45 sacks. So he's a coach that knows how to get the engines revving on the defensive linemen. He obviously has a knack for that, a specialist in that area. So seeing him with Coach Freddie Roach and Kane Warmack, and plus the exotic schemes that I already know that they're planning up for their defensive front, that's definitely going to be something that I can't wait to see, just the development, how everything materializes in that group, and just how creative they can be with a player like a Yonze Pierre, with a player like a Justin Hill, with a player like a Terrence Ferguson, with Desmond Umazulu, for example, even a player like Xavier Griffin. You can send him, the young player, 5-star from Gainesville, Matthews from Gainesville as well. Just thinking about the rotation on that defensive line and how he'll be able to help them, because this definitely helps. So he'll be able to help them continue to grow. So I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah, and I'm sure he's going to do very well at Alabama, and if he does, he'll definitely be able to be promoted from within. Like if one of the defensive coaches is leaving for another position, like a head coach position, or another defense coordinator position, or something like that, because like I could see something.
Chill. I don't want to think about it like that, because obviously you want to hang on to a coach like a Kane Warmack. You want to just live in the moment. You want to just live in the moment right now. But we know that Kane Warmack, he is definitely suitable to be a coach at other places. He's been coaches at other places. He's definitely going to be on the hot list this year if the defense does what we expect him to do, which is play dominant football. So it wouldn't surprise me if if Simpson was a coach that could be promoted from within, like you said, Jackson. But right now, we kind of just want to live in the moment. We kind of want to just enjoy the riches that they have on that defensive staff, because this is a talented defensive staff mixed with a talented group of players. So it's definitely going to be exciting when everything materializes this summer. The rest of this spring, this summer, and the fall, so they can wreak havoc on the opposing quarterbacks, the opposing offensive line, and live in that backfield in 2026.
For sure. Definitely live in the moment. That is for sure. And lastly, we will definitely end this show with the opening lines for Alabama, Michigan in the Sweet 16 Friday night, because we've got it on FanDuel right here. Michigan, man, they keep changing up they're 10.5 favorite against the Alabama Crimson Tide. But on the one hand, I'm pretty nervous about Michigan, but on the other hand, it's if Alabama can win this game, that basically can mean they're home free in a way in going to the Final Four, because like all they'd have to really do is win their Elite Eight matchup against the winner of Iowa.
My bad. I don't want to cut you off, Jackson. That ain't no easy feat though. But I mean, at the same time, but if you defeat a team like Michigan, you would definitely set yourself up to potentially make a Final Four run. Obviously, the lines on this game has been. I've seen it fluctuate from 12 to 11. Now we're seeing it on FanDuel 10.5. I've been looking at some of the polls, the ESPN analytics and stuff like that. Michigan right now has a 72.6 chance to win that game. And a lot of odds makers only giving Alabama a slim chance at 27.4. So obviously, Alabama is going to have to play above their level. We saw them play above their level against Texas Tech. They're going to need that same type of shooting. They're going to have to play with that same type of relentlessness on the glass that they played against Texas Tech. They're going to have to get scoring from LeBaron Philon. LeBaron Philon did a good job the other night just playing facilitator and stuff like that. They're going to need guys like Houston Millett, Latrell Wrightsell, Aiden Sherrill. It's gonna take a team effort. It's gonna take a collaborative effort overall. But I'm confident in Coach Nate Oates. He's been able to help this team be productive throughout injury, throughout scandal, throughout legal trouble. He's had them ready to play majority of the games. It's been only a handful of games where they were just outmatched. A lot of people saying they're going to be outmatched here. But at the same time, Coach Nate Oates is a coach that can definitely lead the way and help them right the ship. So I can't wait to see what happens Friday night. It's going to be a long wait till Friday. Luckily, we got the pro day to keep us distracted. We got Alabama football practice to keep us distracted. But on Friday night, all eyes are going to be on the Crimson Tide on the hardwood. So we just can't wait to see it. Wishing those guys the best. And, just play free. You the underdog, nobody picking you. So we the only ones that's gonna pick them, us and the rest of the Alabama fans, because we made it this far. We can't turn our back on them now. So and it's March. We've seen upsets happen. So it's just about how they got to empty the chamber. But we'll see on Friday night for sure. Excited to see what happens in Chicago.
You know what helped Alabama against Texas Tech was the 3-pointers, was getting the 3-pointers, but also making sure they were up on the rebound game, because if you're not up on the rebound game, it's going to get ugly. And if you're overly reliant on the 3-pointer, it can be very bad. And I'm just like, I can't help but wonder if Alabama basically just saved up all their energy for March Madness, kind of like what they did with 2024, where it's like the regular season was kind of a mid record where, you lost to Florida in the SEC tournament in the quarterfinals. and nobody's really thinking about you all that much. But then Alabama makes that humongous run, especially by upsetting North Carolina in the Sweet 16 and then just going to the Final Four. I can't help but wonder if the same thing is happening right now for the
Yeah.
Crimson Tide.
Yeah, honestly, I wouldn't say they saved their effort because Coach Nate Oates demands a lot out of those guys each and every night. So I don't think it's that. Obviously, it's just about the favorable matchups and stuff like this. A lot of people saying Alabama is not favored in this matchup. You can see why, just how just looking at some of the other numbers going through this matchup with Michigan. Michigan is a very talented team. They have a front. I think they're starting power forward. I can't pronounce his last name. I know his first name is Yaxel. He a monster. But looking at the records, Michigan is 33-3, number one. Alabama is 25-9. Looking at the net efficiency, it's 18-2 in favor of Michigan. Alabama does score more points than them, scoring 91.6 points versus 87.4 points. Offensive points per game. Michigan is a team that likes to just grind and wear you down and stuff like that. But if Alabama can get out to that hot start, obviously you need some of those threes to fall. But you got to have an inside game too. I'll go back to the game with them versus Florida when those threes weren't falling and they had to go inside. You can't be out rebounded in the paint, like you said, Jackson. You got to get on the glass and make some noise. But looking at the paint deficiency, Michigan is a plus 12.9. Alabama is a minus 4.1 in points in the paint. So it's going to have to be an all-around game. Obviously, they were able to shoot their way and shoot the lights out against Texas Tech. But it's going to be hard to replicate that same performance. You know, that was kind of like an anomaly, an out-of-body experience. I mean, obviously, Alabama has the most threes in the season in program history. They have the NCAA record last year, shooting 25 threes in the game, making 25 in the game. I mean, so, you know, they're going to need some of that magic from behind the arc. But they got to get inside and play bully ball, man. They got to get inside and get to the rack. They got to force those bigs to respect all perimeters of the basketball court, or, you know, Michigan is going to keep doing what they've been doing to get to that 33-3 record. So we'll see what happens. But wishing the Alabama Crimson Tide men's team the best as they move forward in this March Madness. Hopefully they can keep dancing and bust a couple more brackets.
For sure, you know, because that would be neat right there if Alabama can do what they did 2024 Friday night against Michigan. You know, the odds are against Alabama, but as a wise old man once said, that's why they play the games. There we go. But I believe, but for right now, I think it's going to be a tight one. I feel like Michigan wins, but you know, it would not surprise me if Alabama upsets Michigan because, like, I could see that happening.
Yeah, you know, how you gonna say you feel like Michigan win and Alabama feel like they upset them? No, for me, it's really just staying in the game, staying, you know, not letting them run away with it.
The odds are saying 10.5. You know, for Michigan,
yeah, man,
like, that's
10.5
too high. That's
a lot of points.
That's
a lot of points, but at the same time, if you look at Michigan, they've blown a lot of teams out. So that is why that percentage is that way. And plus, Alabama not having Aiden Holloway, their second leading scorer, that's definitely plays into the point spread and stuff like that. But at the same time, this is March Madness. This is a neutral site. We didn't see LeBron Fallon go off last game. I think he's due for a 20-point plus game. He only scored 9 last game. They're definitely going to need all of that 20 and more. So Alabama has the better guard play, but Michigan has the better front court. So it's just about being able to even things out. So, I mean, for me, I'm going Alabama plus 10. Alabama plus 10.5 for sure. If I'm feeling confident enough on Friday night, I'm going to take the money line. I'm going to take Alabama to win if I'm confident enough. It's still a lot of research we got to do on this game. Still a lot of not watching a lot of tape because, I'm a football guy, but at the same time, still just doing a lot of background research. But I'm taking that Alabama plus 10 for sure.
Oh yeah, plus 10.5 because it's like the spread is too low on Bama, so Bama's obviously going to beat the spread on this one. So there you go. Like it's going to be a great game on Friday night, closer than the experts have it. But
Yeah, for sure.
we've got more magic coming your way, all right here on Alabama with the Voice of College Football. But Trevion not only creates magic here on Alabama with the Voice of College Football, but also on Bama Hammer. But other stuff as well. What you got going on, man?
Man, obviously, still diving into spring practice. Got a couple more practices to look at this week. Obviously, tomorrow will be the pro day, so definitely gonna have some stories on what comes from those players, what was said by Ty Simpson, what's said by Jeremy Bernard, what's said by other key players, and stuff like that. Also, what Kalen DeBoer said, because Kalen DeBoer is also going to be speaking tomorrow at their pro day. Also looking at just other creative ideas that I can come up with. So if you definitely want to check out to see what I got going on, you can check me out on X at TWorld1K. That is TWorld1K. And yeah, I'll be definitely diving into my into my idea board to see what I can come up with, how creative I can be. But it's a lot to look forward to this week with basketball, football, recruiting. So I'll definitely have my hands full. So I definitely appreciate anybody that want to see what I got going on. If you want to follow me, you can follow me. That's cool. If you want to just look around and see what my stories got going on, you could just scroll down my page. They won't be hard to find. The links in the bio. Stories are all down the page. You can also interact with me on there. You can talk to me about some football on there. I'll talk back with you. I'm pretty good with engagement and stuff like that. So I definitely would appreciate anybody that do so. I also want to give a big shout out to our streaming partners, our partners at Apple Music, at Apple Podcasts, at Spotify, at Facebook, at TikTok, at Instagram, and on X.
There we go.
Amazon podcast. We wouldn't be anything without them. So if you're looking for somewhere to find your podcast, you can't catch the show, you want to hear us in the car, you want to hear us while you're doing an errand, you want to hear us just while you're at the crib on some downtime, want to hear some good football, some good Alabama athletics talk, you definitely can find us here on all of our streaming partners. We definitely appreciate them for their partnership. And yeah. And also, feel free to hit that like, comment, and subscribe button. We definitely appreciate that. Subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a comment if you have.
There you go. That's right. You like, comment, subscribe, click on the notification bell to Alabama with the Voice of College Football so you never miss another video or another episode whatsoever. I think the feed cut out on Trevion for a little bit. Oh man, it's doing the mess around on him. But while we wait, we also like to tell you about the Voice of College Football X account where you can get top-notch discussion, debate, and analysis with no off-season. Just give it a follow by following the VOCFB on X, and you can get top-notch discussion, debate, and analysis with no off-season in college football all right there. And, of course, you can also check me out on Jackson Johnson 979, where I've got my own show, The Jacksonian. But you could also check me out on SEC at the Voice of College Football tomorrow night, where Tucker Harlan, Andrew Miller, and myself will be joined by Tyler Head. We will be doing a lot of talking on the next edition of SEC Live. And for more updates, what I've got going on SEC at the Voice of College Football, right here on Alabama at the Voice of College Football, The Jacksonian, or once, twice a week appearances on Locked On West Virginia. Check me out on Jackson VCFB on X/Twitter and on Instagram and Threads. And with that being said, like, comment, subscribe, click on the notification bell so you never miss another video whatsoever. And we will see y'all soon. And roll Tide!